So, I guess this is our first podcast, right?
Yep. Welcome to the Movie Slingers podcast.
Starring
Nuan,
and me, Dinul. So, this is our first episode, and today we'll be speaking at the end of the podcast about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
yes, very excited to talk about that.
Yes. So, so now I think we've already watched the movie and all, but before that, maybe let's talk about things that are coming soon. And
Yeah. A bunch of trailers dropped recently.
yeah,
There was the Expendables 4 trailer. Expend 4 doubles. They put the 4 in there.
yeah,
And I thought it looked fun. It looks like it's going to be better than the last one. The last
Yeah.
one was quite bad. Mostly it looks like they got some action people.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. I think
no,
they got
not the MMA.
yeah, I
dudes
hate
or
those
like
guys because they're not actors and they're not action stars.
I mean, they're like pretty like a bit too nihilistic, and they're not like it's not like they're having fun.
yeah, because I mean they're not actors. So
They're
they
not
don't-
actors like
they
that.
don't
Like
know how to.
like
yeah.
see like Ronda Rousey has this really like pale face she gives. So like it's
Yeah,
it's
I mean
weird.
you gotta put some action people in there. There's plenty of action people who can also act.
Yeah.
I mean, so they got the guy from The Raid.
Yes.
Eco, who is
yeah.
like, I mean, The Raid is probably one of the coolest action movies
I
ever.
love the Raid. Yeah.
So they got that guy. They
Yeah.
got Tony Jaa. Yeah,
from
Tony Jaa. Yeah.
Ong Bak.
So
I
hopefully,
loved him from that.
yeah. So hopefully, the filmmakers know how to show those guys off
Yeah.
properly. Because
Yeah. It's also interesting they brought in like 50 cents.
oh yeah,
Because like he's
Because
a real like he's
Yeah.
gone through real shit, like he's been
Yeah,
shot
yeah,
like 7 or 8 times. So I mean, and the guy is also pretty like
he's a decent actor.
Yeah, like a decent
He's
actor,
not
yeah.
bad in
Yeah.
that kind of movie. So yeah,
when was the last time we like saw 50 cents in a movie? I'm like wondering.
I think
like,
he was in one of those.
I think we should like
The Lock. Was it the Lockdown? The thing where Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone are locked in. They are in a prison.
Oh,
The Prison
yeah,
Break
must
movie. I
be.
think 50 Cent was in that one. I think he was.
Because
there.
I was also thinking maybe he was in like Triple X, maybe. But then
That was Ice Cube.
That was Ice
There was
Cube.
Ice Cube. There was a different rapper.
Yeah,
the
because
same
I was
guy.
also like wondering like what's the whole thing. I'm like actually like pulling up my tab and I'm like trying to like Google and see like what movies 50 Cent has been,
Yeah.
because like I have not really seen him much in movies and like he's not. I
He's
don't.
usually like a supporting character.
Yeah.
But he's all right. And they got. I think they got Megan Fox in this one as well.
Yes, they do.
like
right?
she's okay in this type
Yeah.
of movie, and obviously Statham is pretty
Statham
badass.
is there, yeah.
You have Stallone coming back, so hopefully it'll be good.
So like I'm checking on. Oh, he was in Southpaw.
oh, okay. I don't remember much about
Yeah.
that movie. I know Jake Gyllenhaal was good.
Yeah. Like
I think
you
he was the
say-
manager.
Like you
I think
said,
he was
like
the manager.
He was in Escape Plan.
Oh yeah, Escape
Yeah.
Plan. That was the movie. Oh right.
And so I'm actually like going through the Google.
He's doing movies.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of movies.
It's like you just don't notice it,
Yeah.
right? Like, and also he's like in the Equalizer too. I got to know that today. I'm like,
Okay.
wow, okay. And he was in a Nick Cage movie called Frozen, The Frozen Crown. Hopefully,
I think I watched that.
I did.
I think I watched it. I don't remember much about it. Oh, but speaking of Nick Cage,
Yeah.
there was a Nick Cage trailer.
Yes,
dropped.
Sympathy for
Sympathy
the
for the
Devil.
Devil. It's
Yeah.
Nick Cage and Joel Kinnaman,
Mhm.
the guy who was in RoboCop.
Do you feel like it's like a mid-budget movie by the looks of it?
I mean, a lot of Nick Cage movies nowadays
like,
are
pretty
the-
mid-budget, right?
Yeah. But I mean, you put him in a car and he's taking Joel Kinnaman's character as a
Yeah.
hostage or something like that.
Yeah.
And it looks like they know how to use him. They're letting him do his thing. He's
Yeah.
always entertaining.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting.
And also he's
Yeah.
back in his whole old, like face off, like he goes full on crazy
Yeah.
and like he
I think
laughs
people
and, like,
realize, like, I think filmmakers realize that you need to like let him loose.
Do him, yeah.
Do his thing, and people will
You have to
come
let
to
off
watch.
the animal.
Yeah, the people will come to watch the movie. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to know how to use him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in like in the film with Pedro Pascal, the unbearable massive talent of that, I think he was a bit controlled in that, like unlike
because he did both. He did
Yeah.
I mean, he did. I think he did multiple Nick Cage.
yeah, like
Different versions of him.
Yeah.
So you have the Nicky
The
character, right? And then you have like normal Nicky,
Cage.
like probably what he is at home. or
Yeah.
whatever. So you had,
and then the father,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then the actor, yeah.
Yeah, you had multiple different variations of
I
him.
feel like that's a movie, like Sympathy for the Devil is a kind of a movie I would go and watch in the weekend. It feels like one of those films where it's kind of like a detox from all these films where the bad guy is usually a guy who has a software that can like hack the entire world or some shit like
They
that.
keep doing that, right? It's always
It's-
the whole
Yeah, like
the MacGuffin is always.
I always like wondered like whenever someone gets a software like that, can't they like make a copy and put it on torrents or something?
No, it's always on a flash drive that can be easily
Always on a
stolen.
flash drive.
It's always on a flash drive. It's not on like a massive data center or something. It magically runs on a like a flash drive.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's Fast and Furious or
Oh.
whatever the movie is.
But like other than that, was there like any other trailers or like I didn't come across anything else.
Nothing. Yeah, those are the two I remember from this week.
Yeah.
But we know like the Flash is coming out
Yeah.
in like a week, I think.
And I heard that Ezra Miller is not going to really be at the premieres. He's going to be only in the
they're hiding him. They're hiding him.
They're hiding. They're like
That man needs some
he's like
rehabilitation.
he's like that Homelander meme where like he goes to the premiere and he looks like super serious and like who is like taking all photos chill and like he gets knocked over by Homeland and he looks like
Yeah.
Man, that was like crazy with the whole him, I don't know, he was having a
He
car,
was arrested and
he punched a fan and like it just
I mean, they're saying he's getting help, so hopefully
Yeah, good luck
that's
for
a good
him,
thing.
bro.
I
Yeah, but like I think so after I think the Flash movie they are going to do the whole James Gunn thing. Do you think like he could pull it off? Like
Who, James Gunn?
yeah.
I mean, he is a good writer director, and
Yeah.
and he knows the comics. He knows how to make those characters work on the
Yeah.
screen
Yeah.
in a movie. So, I mean, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah.
It's tough,
Yeah.
And DC, I mean, Warner Brothers, they
They
don't.
are
They
lost
seem to
and-
like.
yeah.
I mean, they give a chance, but then they give a chance to directors, but then they also tend to freak out a lot, and then they try to overcorrect things.
Yeah, they try to like
they don't see
they're
something through.
micromanaging, right?
They don't see it through. They as soon as something happens, they freak out and they try to change things. And as long as I think as long as they leave James Gunn alone to kind of work on it, at least for the first few movies.
Yeah, because I felt like with Zack Snyder, like they were kind of micromanaging him and like breathing under his like neck.
I think like it was probably the reaction to BVS.
Yeah,
that it wasn't what they hoped it would be, and then they tried to correct things. They tried to go in the other direction, and suddenly things are changing, and a lot of drama. Yeah.
It's like interesting. Like when BVS was like initially released, so this was like when I was in school around like A-level time. I went and watched the film.
Yeah.
I actually kind of liked it.
I like it too.
I liked it.
I still like it.
And then because I was thinking, okay, when I walk out of the theater, all my friends would be like, oh my god, this sucks and all. But I think interestingly, at the same time, Civil War was also released.
Yeah, Civil War came out like a few months.
I think few weeks also within that time, and I felt like it caused this whole
it caused a big divide
between Marvel or DC,
fighting,
and it was like a weird time.
And also, like, you know, fans tend to get upset when one movie gets good reviews and the other one doesn't.
Yeah,
and you know, people fought over that. People fought over so many different things.
It's weird, weird time. But
let's hope that doesn't happen. But it's gonna happen. You know,
it'll happen.
You know, when James Gunn puts out the first movie, you know that, you know, Zack Snyder fans are not. They might not. I don't know. I feel like they already have kind of written off, in a way, James Gunn. They don't. They're not looking at it optimistically. They are kind of. This is not.
I think they're a bit worried that James Gunn might bring some optimism to the whole thing, and they're like,
it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's good to have it in Superman, and
it's just that they haven't gotten over the Snyderverse. So, you know, until they get over that.
but do you think that Warner should like if there was an opportunity for them to continue the Snyderverse, would you love to see it happen?
I would like if they bring in Snyder again.
Yeah.
And they let him do one movie and finish off his story. Yeah. Whatever the stuff he set up.
Let it all out.
Let it finish, right? I would like to. I would see that movie. I would see it. I don't know if it'll be good.
Good. Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of Justice League.
You mean the 4-hour cut or the Joss Whedon?
They're both the same. I don't think it was a significant improvement.
Yeah, I mean, the other
especially
one
considering the runtime.
Yeah, the other one was like 4 hours long. But again, I like his.
But I would like to see. I would like to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Right. And if he does another one, I would like to see it. I don't think it'll happen. But you never know what if the reaction to the Flash is overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
And because some of Zack Snyder's characters are in the Flash.
Yeah, exactly.
They have said that they already have a script for the Flash too, or something. Yes, there's some talk about that. So now nobody expects that to happen. But if it's like a huge hit, if it makes like $1 billion, you never know. You don't know, right? You don't know what will happen. I mean, let's see.
I also heard like the early screenings and all, like they were positive, and then there were instances where they changed the ending to the last. I don't know what's the reason.
I don't know. I don't know much about the story, but
maybe there's a cut for that.
Who knows?
With 4 different endings. So apparently there are 4 different endings. It seems. I saw it somewhere.
You mean it's gonna be like? Is it like Lord of the Rings, where you think it's gonna end, and then there's a bit more, and there's a bit more, and there's a bit more, but I'm guessing it's something like that. Like they keep. I mean, I don't know.
Because like I'm also interested in how they're gonna bring the whole Michael Keaton's, like the Tim Burton Batman in, because before this movie they were doing a comic book series which I read.
Right.
It wasn't really that good.
Okay.
It was like...
what was that about?
No, so basically it's the continuation of the last film. And Two-Face is there.
Oh, okay. So what do you mean by last film, the Batman Returns?
Yes, after
so
that...
So this is like Tim Burton's story?
Tim Burton's story in a comic book.
They extended it.
I think
So that's supposed to be the Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah, because so they started doing this recently, and also they started bringing back Christopher Reeve's Superman, and they're doing a little run with that. I haven't read it, and because like
so he looks like Christopher Reeve. In the comics.
They've like drawn it like in that sense,
So this is like a tie-in.
It's like a little.
It's an Elseworld
story, and they want to like do something because. They have done this with Batman Beyond.
Oh, right.
Remember the cartoon?
Yeah, I remember the cartoon.
So they've been doing that also with the Batman animated series. They've done that into a comic book thing. I don't know if it's good or not, but I have come across it. It's just that it's not really under my radar. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's next week. So maybe after that we can talk about it.
Talk about it, yeah.
Day, yeah? The future. You wanna talk about Spider-Man?
Oh.
So we just, I think Dinul watched it last night.
Yeah.
I watched it like 2 days ago.
Yeah. You watched it on Thursday, day before yesterday.
So, we watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was pretty cool.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I think it was like a huge step up from the last movie.
Yeah. I feel it too.
Because after watching the film when I came out and after I put my 5-star review on Letterboxd, I'm on Letterboxd by the way, so you can follow me. But shall we where should we start though? Like, shall we start from the beginning of the film and do a little, because we don't really have the clips with us, but so from
what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, or
one thing, I mean the artwork wise it's amazing. Each universe has its own aesthetic.
Yes.
Like for example, Spider-Punk had that pop art punk collage art.
His dialogue would appear as like a punk font kind of a thing.
It's like it had a very rebellious, you can feel it in the way it looks and all.
And he was talking like he was like an 80s punk rocker, you know.
And also like when I was watching it, I thought they might put subtitles because I kind of didn't understand.
Yeah, because he was talking like a British, like he was from the Sex Pistols or something. He was like.
And also he's voiced by David Kaluuya from Get Out.
I actually didn't recognize him. When I checked the cast, I was like, oh my god, that was him.
Exactly.
But he has a British accent. I think he can do that.
He pulled it off really well, and
and Jason Schwartzman as the Spot. I thought that was brilliant.
It was so good.
It was actually, for me, the first time a Miles Morales villain has been that memorable.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not a big fan of the Prowler.
The Prowler,
I thought that was a bit weak in the first movie.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And also, even I played the video game as well, the PlayStation video game, and Prowler is there, and a bunch of other villains are there, but I never liked any of them.
They're kind of like secondary villains, right? They're like Shocker is kind of like a secondary villain.
And they are not cool the way Peter Parker's villains are, because Peter Parker has one of the best.
The OG club, right? Green Goblin. Rhino,
exactly.
Kingpin. You can,
So they took this guy called the Spot, and he appears. When he appears, he's just robbing an ATM, and you think it's gonna be like a 5-minute scene, and he's gonna be arrested.
Yeah. But he's not.
but he keeps coming back, and every time he comes back, he's more powerful.
Yeah.
And they kind of elevate. I mean, he's the villain of the week.
Yeah.
And they take that concept and they turn it on its head.
Yeah.
And they make him Miles Morales' arch nemesis.
Yeah.
Sort of, Like he's getting there. He's getting there.
Like he says in the speech, right?
Yeah.
I made you, you made me.
Yeah.
And we are together in this whole thing. So it really I think this whole film really justified that.
Yeah.
And
because he's actually the guy in the lab in the first movie.
Yeah.
We don't even remember. I didn't remember.
The thing is, if you take the Spot, he doesn't appear in a lot of places, unless you're a comic book reader and all, because he's not really a part of the OG club of Spider-Man villains. You have Vulture, you have Rhino, you have all these other people. He's kind of secondary or sort of don't. I mean,
he's not a memorable villain until now. Until now. So that's pretty cool.
I also like the decision they made about this, because I thought maybe they'll go with a more familiar villain that has been shown in many films and whatnot. But they were like, no, let's take this guy who people aren't really aware of, and let's give him
bring
something.
him up. Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, I thought the main villain was gonna be Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah, Miguel O'Hara.
Because that's the only name I heard before I went to watch the movie. I didn't hear about anything about the movie, so I thought he's gonna be the villain, and he will be a villain.
Yeah,
I think he's the other villain in the movie. So
there's an interesting thing about him.
I
don't know if this is the right time to say it. I don't want this.
You want to spoil something? Okay, guys. I mean, we are gonna talk spoilers here. So If you haven't watched this movie, we suggest you go watch it. Stop this right now, pause it, go watch it,
and
then come back. Yeah. So we're gonna be spoiling some stuff.
Like the thing with the Miguel O'Hara talks about canon, right?
Yeah.
Like, in every universe, every Spider-Man goes through these A to B to C like stages in his life, right? He loses his uncle, and he loses Captain Stacy, and like whatnot, and all of that, because if they don't go through that, the canon dies and the whole universe does. But interestingly, I remember when I was reading the comics and when I was playing Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, where he was like introduced, you play as this video game, you play as 4 versions of Spider-Man. You play as Spider-Man Noir, you play as Ultimate Spider-Man with the Venom suit, you play the current Spider-Man, present day Spider-Man, and you play as Spider-Man 2099. So interestingly, he's like the only Spider-Man, I don't know only, but where he's not been bitten by a spider.
Right.
And like how he got his powers was like he took because he's from the future, he took the DNA of like Peter Parker and he like infused it into his DNA.
Right.
And as a side effect, that's why he has fangs. He doesn't have a spider sense.
Right.
If you notice, like in the first scene in the movie, like when he was dealing with Vulture, he didn't really feel like there was something falling on him. That's why he has the fangs instead of the spider sense.
So he's different. That's interesting now that you mention it, because he's different from all the other Peter Parkers.
Like he's like totally different. Also like in the comics, like so, he's a genetic scientist working for Alchemax. And he gets addicted to a drug that is made by them. And so they're like corporate blackmailing on him so that he works under them for like a long time. So it's like a dystopian, thing. I don't know whether they might bring it into this movie.
We never know. I mean,
because it's a bit dark in that sense, but I don't know. They might flip it or like, but I would like to.
I mean, and that's interesting because he's the character in the movie that tells Miles that you're not supposed to be Spider-Man. He says you're not the real Spider-Man because in this version of the story, Miles was bitten by a spider from a different dimension.
Earth 42.
Earth 42. So that spider was not meant for Miles. And so Miles is sort of an anomaly in the multiverse. And that's why he shouldn't exist. And so Miguel calls him, okay, you're not supposed to be Spider-Man. And I thought that was pretty interesting also because there's a lot of fans I've noticed who don't like Miles. And they're like, oh, you're not my Spider-Man or whatever. They say stuff like that.
So the thing about that, like I wanted to bring on this podcast is like Miles is a legacy character. So basically, legacy characters, what they basically do is they take on the legacy of their predecessor or like the ancestor and whatnot. So like Marvel, they wanted to take Spider-Man or the story to another place and they couldn't because they have Peter Parker. And obviously they tried the whole Clone Wars thing with Ben Reilly, who's also a character in this film, but I hope we'll see more about him in the next film. So that didn't work out, so obviously next option was like Miles Morales, but he's been a pretty decent Spider-Man.
He's good.
Right?
He's Spider-Man. I mean, I'm sure he's the He's the Spider-Man for a lot of kids who are like growing up right now. And to kind of
this film kind of like justified him being the new Spider-Man, like the guy who can hold up the mantle. Something.
And it was interesting that the villain sort of challenges him on that. And now we'll have to see in the next one, Miles will have to kind of step up to that challenge because Miles now has to actually go against canon, right? He has to go against the established canon and to like save his father because his father is in the middle of all this. So that would be interesting. Because the thing is this movie actually ends on a cliffhanger. This movie doesn't end.
To be continued.
They set up like two villains. And they set up that Miles's father is now in danger because the Spot says that he's gonna kill him. So it's gonna be pretty interesting when the next one comes out. I don't know when that will be. It might take a year or two.
I think.
It's supposed to come out next year.
Next year, March, right? 29th or something.
But I don't know. I mean, there's a writer's strike.
Yeah. It might.
I mean, maybe if the script is finished, maybe.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, they haven't recorded the lines yet. The actors haven't recorded their lines, so I don't know. Maybe it could get delayed. But I'm sure it's gonna come out. They're gonna make it.
Yeah, they have to make it.
This movie is a big hit, so they're gonna make it.
They have to do it. Sony has to do something.
But it's interesting. I love the new villains they have introduced.
Yeah.
And
there were like a lot of like Easter eggs in this movie.
Yes, there's hundreds of Easter eggs. Like they go into this building and you have like hundreds of spider characters.
They're in Nueva York. That's like the New York of the future.
29. So, that's a 29.
29. Yeah.
Okay. And so Miguel has sort of gathered
everyone.
Spider people from across the multiverse.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to basically clean up the mess that was started in the first movie. So he's going around.
And also he blames the nerd from Earth 19999 with Doctor Strange. From
yeah. So is this also a problem because of the MCU? Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
He's talking about
that
No Way Home, right?
Like how that also messed up the timeline.
Yeah.
Because like the 3 Spider-Man came in and like that whole other thing happened.
It created so many different problems, so they have to clean it up. So that means
I like how he says, and that little nerd, and Doctor Strange, that the little nerd from Earth 199, he says it like
so
in
funny,
one go.
Yeah. So so we have hundreds of spider characters. So they have people from the comics, they have people from the cartoons, I think,
yes,
and there's video game characters, and then this is the crazy part. They have live action. They had the guy from they had Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, who played
he played the uncle. He played
Miles Morales' uncle from
Aaron Davis.
Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming.
So he's there. He's there in the Prowler suit. He's trapped in this prison, and there's a couple of lines with him. So I thought, okay, that was a pretty cool reference there.
So like interestingly, like in the beginning of the film, when Gwen is talking about her story, and like how her Peter Parker became the Lizard and all, who is voiced by Jack Quaid, who is also Huey from The Boys.
Yeah. Okay, I remember.
Interestingly, an Easter egg is the band she's playing for is called the Mary Janes.
Yes. I saw that. Yes. That's like there are so many like even the writing or in the stuff in the background is a reference sometimes. So they sneaked in a lot of stuff, and there's even like a couple of moments where they show scenes from. Some of the Spider-Man movies, they show Andrew Garfield.
They did.
They show holding Gwen.
No, holding actually Captain
Stacy. Okay, and then they
from
show
the first movie.
Yeah, and then they show Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man holding Uncle Ben.
And then
that was pretty cool. I like
and
that.
Also like. From Spider-Man 3, they showed Peter Parker trying to get the Venom symbiote out of his body.
Really,
there was an Easter egg there. They showed that scene.
I didn't see that.
Because like when he's explaining like, like all the Spider-Man are going through and they're showing the webs with all the videos and whatnot. In one of those scenes they show.
I think I missed that one. And there's even a moment where the Spot goes into the Venom universe.
Yes.
Because you have the lady from the 7-Eleven.
Yes.
Who like Venom screams at her in that movie, and she's there, and she's not surprised. She's like, Spot.
Wait, you like what alien are you?
Because I think she's used to like Venom showing up, right? So here's another guy.
That was like interesting, like how they brought the whole.
And I like how the Easter eggs, they don't take too much time. Like they just show up. And they do their joke and they're gone. Like they don't,
and the jokes are actually funny.
Jokes are funny, exactly.
Like these were not like dry jokes. It's like really.
And this movie is really funny. Yes. Like there are so many moments. Even with the Spot, especially with the Spot early on,
he was like really,
during that fight scene, the very first fight scene, that was really funny, and Miles has to kind of deal with the Spot, but also go to the parent-teacher meeting at school. And
he got a B+ for Spanish, and then the mom gets all pissed off. And then I don't know if you notice this, like when she does the snap, like it shows like a
Like a
little
snap.
like yeah, like
Oh,
I think that
right.
was like a little Avengers Infinity War kind of
Oh,
little like
right,
thing
okay,
like
okay.
that. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like a lot of Easter eggs
There's
in
a lot
this
of-
movie, but
I mean,
yeah.
all that stuff works. I mean, it's just and all that stuff doesn't really distract from the main story, because
Yeah.
when it gets to the main story, it's totally focused.
Yeah.
And that stuff is really good.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's going into the whole, Peter Parker. I mean, or Miles Morales in this case. That he loses somebody.
Yeah.
You can't have everything. You
Yeah.
can't be Spider-Man
Yeah.
and.
I think that's where the whole
Yeah.
debate came in. Like, if
Yeah.
a tragic
Yeah.
event happens, and if you knew it would happen, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
debate was like, would you take all that effort to prevent it, or would you let it happen?
Yeah,
And that whole debate happens with Miguel and all the
Yeah.
other Spider-Men. And Spectacular Spider-Man
Yeah,
also
yeah.
jumps in, and it's like, yeah, it's like it's happening to all of us, and like, you know.
Yeah.
I felt like the
Yeah.
whole Spider Society thing, like the way how like different variants were coming in.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a little subtle nod towards like the Spider-Man like fans wise, like how everyone is trying to be like super religious towards this canon.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I just saw a video today where
Right.
the director was like saying that like there's a lot of these Spider-Man fans who are like trying to make it have this very purist way of things with the canon and all, and
They have their favorite version,
and
that's-
they don't, and that's all.
Yeah,
Like you cannot
yeah.
change anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas the director's like, no, it's not really about that. But
Yeah.
it's like basically what makes Spider-Man is like he's relatable to everyone.
Yeah.
And to everyone around the world. So that's why he wanted to have different variants to
Yeah.
show that
These are
everyone,
all-
anyone
yeah.
can be Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like kind of to represent the fans all over the world, which was a amazing.
Yeah,
job.
that was really cool.
amazing.
And they're also like sort of they're challenging the canon. That's
Yeah.
and that's I think that's why they bring, because they use the word canon in this
yeah.
movie. They actually
Yeah.
use it,
Yeah.
which is. I mean, canon is a word that doesn't come in the movies.
Exactly.
It's a term that fans use when they talk about
it's
something.
It's the canon.
Because you can't change the canon. But
You can't.
but in this
Yeah.
case, Miles will have to go against canon to get
yeah.
what he wants.
Yeah.
Right. And I also like that.
It's also interesting, like the
Yeah.
whole canon thing is coming from Miguel, especially since we've talked about his whole
Because
origin.
he's not-
and
he's different.
He's totally different
Different,
from
exactly,
everyone else.
exactly.
He's not noir or anyone
So that's
else.
actually interesting when he tells Miles that
Yeah.
you're not Spider-Man.
You're not.
But is he the one?
It's like yeah.
That's really cool.
I have a
Yeah.
feeling like in the next movie
They might reveal that.
whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like I think everyone will turn on him.
Maybe that is
I-
possible, and
so,
we already
yeah.
see at the end of the movie some people have turned against him.
Yeah,
because we see Gwen
yeah.
assembling her own team.
With the previous
Yeah,
gang,
yeah. And so we see Spider Noir.
Nicolas
back.
Cage.
So I'm guessing Nicolas Cage will come back in the next one.
He didn't say anything in the
He
film,
didn't
right?
say
He was
in this
just
one.
there, like
Yeah.
I think he would.
He wasn't there, but I think his character is there. So
Yeah.
hopefully that means he'll come back, because he was one of the funniest characters.
Also, like interestingly, in this film, like Spider Gwen was like they gave a lot like
Yes.
opportunity for her to like tell her
Yeah.
story.
I mean, it's
Which
parts
is
of this movie are just her story.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the beginning and the end, we see a lot of her story.
And also that
Yeah.
the whole relationship with Miles and Gwen
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
built more, and it felt
Yes.
very natural,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
wasn't like pushed upon, and like
Because they
Yeah.
take a lot of time. Like you
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
there are moments where that scene that was really beautiful. Like the scene where they're upside down and they're talking on the top of this building, and I was like, oh my god, this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're not running around; they're just talking.
Yeah.
And this movie has a lot of scenes like that.
Yes, exactly.
There's a scene with Miles and the mother,
Yeah.
and I think there's an earlier scene with Miles and his father.
Yeah.
And these scenes are like, they're funny, they're cute. There's like drama happening.
Yeah.
But it's not. They take the time.
Yeah.
They take the time, they're not in a rush.
I think like they took those kind of opportunities to explore that whole dynamic between parents and kids and family and love and all that kind of stuff.
And it feels right, like you had those moments.
In a Spider-Man movie, you should have it.
You should have it.
Like in Tobey Maguire movies, it was there. In Andrew Garfield, it was there. Even in the Holland ones, it was there. It's like a very common theme in Spider-Man related like material. Like always that moment where the hero and like
he has to have like
that chat with
that
someone.
Everyday drama, right? Like you mess up your laundry. And Aunt May notices something is wrong. that kind of thing, right?
It's so
pretty cool.
Thing.
And there was something else. What did I want to talk about?
Also, there was like a Everything Everywhere All at Once reference. Like in Spot's building, there's a board that says pay rent and there's a bagel on top.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wait a minute.
Obviously, they were making this movie when Everything Everywhere came out.
Yeah.
So they would have, let's just have something. Yeah. And then they even had a Lego sequence. They even had, and apparently it was animated by that kid.
14-year-old
this 14-year-old kid who did like a trailer. And they got him to do a small sequence in Lego.
Awesome.
So well done, kid, man. That's amazing. And it was cool of them to have that. And I think it's pretty interesting because the two of the creators of this movie, Lord and Miller, they did the Lego movie.
Yeah, they did the Lego, which was a really good movie.
That was a really good movie, and also like again, their previous work, right? The Lego movies, the Jump Street stuff. These are all movies that are, they have a meta look at certain franchises, and they also kind of both of those franchises they look at certain cliches and they kind of make fun of it. And I think they were the perfect people to work on Spider-Man because especially because they're dealing with the multiverse. And canon and all these stuff.
Like this is like a good example of a multiverse film, which I felt that the Doctor Strange film didn't really.
I haven't watched Multiverse, so I don't know. But I can tell that this is a lot better than how they did No Way Home.
Yes,
because in No Way Home they are just throwing everything into the soup.
No Way Home was basically MCU's way of trying to like fix the whole Spider-Man problem. And they were kind of like doing that whole thing. Okay, like we messed up the previous two films. Let's get these two and like let's fix everything and like
I thought it was probably a reaction to Spider-Verse because the first Spider-Verse came out and then and fans started talking about hey, what if we can have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Holland, everyone together? And I think
that could
and
also,
they did that movie and I think that's why in that movie it just feels like they just dropped everyone in there without a proper I feel like they just dropped them in whereas in Across the Spider-Verse it feels more more meaningful
and anyways it starts after the first movie after the events of the first movie
so they've already set up some things.
They've all it's already been set up. The thing with like No Way Home was I felt like they wanted to restart the whole thing again because at the ending the whole thing where everyone
she doesn't remember
the people don't remember who Peter Parker is and like him moving out and
that's true
like knitting the suit and like the whole dramatic scene of jumping or building by building and that I felt like they wanted to go to like a more street level ground level story than the whole weird sci-fi thing with Mysterio and all that stuff.
That's true.
I think I like Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor, but I also liked him as Mysterio. But I always felt like Spider-Man was overshadowed by his villains, like in Tom Holland universe.
Mysterio was definitely like the best thing in the movie. Completely overshadowed Holland in that one. But Across the Spider-Verse, what else did we miss? By
the way, so Miles's roommate says that I'm not your chair guy.
Yeah, that's a reference to
and he's playing the Insomniac Spider-Man game.
Oh, was that what he was playing?
That was him. That was
my God. and he
I remember I was
and
in
that's a
cinema
reference
hall
to
and I was like literally doing the Leonardo DiCaprio meme thing, like,
oh yeah,
and like pointing at the screen.
I know that.
And everyone's like, what the heck's going on?
and obviously like by saying I'm not your chair guy, that was a reference to Homecoming,
Ned.
I think.
Yeah.
Where that
Ned.
that guy says,
I want to be your chair guy.
yeah, I mean, so many references,
so much, like, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna take people, to rewatch this movie, pause it, take screenshots, and show every little Easter egg.
Easter egg, and like, oh, here is one.
People are gonna be discovering things for years. The way they did this.
But like, okay, so now the next movie might come out soon. What do you think might happen? Do you think anyone else could show up, or do you think?
I mean, anybody could show up at this point, right? I mean, anybody. I mean, they can basically bring any character. I don't think they will bring live action characters, even though they have shown that
they won't
it's
bring
part
the
of the
little
multiverse.
from
they're not going to bring that, but they will bring. I think they will bring other
some version of it.
Yeah, they can totally bring. I mean, they're already bringing back the characters from the previous movie.
Yeah,
and plus some new characters.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's enough. They already have like 10, 15.
No, I mean they can like dive into the whole Spider-Verse and like they could bring some.
And they also have the I forgot what it is, Spider-Man India.
Yes.
Which was a really cool sequence.
Chai tea. That's like saying tea. That's like saying coffee. And then like when Spot says, "Oh, I love naan bread." Naan bread. That's like saying bread, and then he falls.
Yeah. So that's a brand new character.
Yeah.
So I would love to see him return.
Yeah. So like the interesting thing was he was there in the comics, but his look was like a bit weird.
Right.
I don't know if I could like pull it up, but I like what they did with this movie. Like they kind of took it's from the comics, so they kind of gave them a little different
it's sort
look.
of like Mumbai from the future or something, right?
Mumbat.
And then
Mumbatan or something like that. So it's like,
and so they bring in the Indian Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling this character will also be in the next one, because I think everyone seems to like him. From the reaction seems to be positive. So and there's even talk of like a live action Miles.
Yes, I heard.
Apparently the voice actor who does Miles has said that he wants to lose weight so he can play Miles live action. I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't feel that's a good idea.
Just get somebody else, Yeah. And I think he looks too old.
I think they could get that kid from Stranger Things to play him.
I think I already saw a poster of him as Miles, because he just looks like Miles.
If it's done by Boss Logic, it'll definitely happen. He's like the one guy who.
Yeah, I saw like a fan. I already saw fan art from the guy from Stranger Things as Miles. But I hope we can see that. That would be cool.
I hope Donald Glover shows up like in the live action, like as a little cameo or something.
But I heard that it was actually him that inspired Miles.
There's a story, right? Like
that he wore a Spider-Man T-shirt
in Community
and that's what inspired the look of Miles.
Yeah, so that's like an interesting cycle of things.
So he might even be
he voiced Miles Morales in the cartoon, Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. Okay. So like that's a very interesting and in the MCU he plays Miles Morales' uncle, and now he plays Prowler. So I think the whole Miles Morales thing with the anomaly and all, I think that he was going to be Prowler, because in the other universe he ends up becoming Prowler.
So at the end of the movie we see a dimension where Miles has become the Prowler. Because in that universe the spider didn't bite Peter Parker.
It went to the other universe.
It went to the other universe, so there's no Spider-Man, so there's crime happening all over. And Miles' father is dead. So obviously he turned to the uncle, who is like the father figure.
When that scene was coming up, I was like, something's going on.
Yeah, I was like,
I felt my spidey senses were spiking.
As soon as the mother said she didn't know there was a Spider-Man, then I knew. I was like, he went to the wrong because he's
and
not
also
from.
The lighting was also very different from like
the art style was different. It was darker. Because there's no
more
Spider-Man.
And like green and blue.
Yeah.
Like
I think
purple.
that's to say that this world is darker because there's no Spider-Man. It's not bright and colorful like.
And also like when they were going to like the rooftop, like everything is like destroyed and like there's like this whole it's chaotic.
Yeah.
Full anarchy and
so, so the movie ends with Miles trapped by the other Miles and the uncle in one universe, while Gwen and all their friends are going to rescue Miles, but they have gone to the wrong universe.
Yes, again.
So
I think even Miguel O'Hara and all went also to the wrong universe.
Yeah. Because Gwen and Miguel's people go to the wrong one.
It's a whole...
Because what happens is the computer detects the wrong universe.
Because it's in his DNA now, and like with the spider bite and all. So by the way, Spider Bite was there, so he's like a sidekick of Spider-Man, and that's why...
And she joined the group, right? Or she helped him at some point.
Yeah, she's an avatar, right? Like, she has like this virtual reality thing going on.
Yes. And I think Andy Samberg played a role.
He Ben Reilly. He played the clone. Basically, he's a clone of Peter Parker. So there's a whole. I mean,
Peter Parker is also there. The
thing is, like, for all our listeners, like, some of y'all may be wondering, like, by some of the stuff I've said, it's because like I read comics. So like, and also like you don't necessarily have to read all the comics. There are like a lot of YouTube videos that explain the origin stories and all. So you could like maybe check them out and like you can learn more. So I have a feeling. So since it's beyond the Spider-Verse, like so there's this. Like this character called Web Madam.
Okay.
She's like this judge, jury kind of she's like she's kind of like Kang, who kind of like maintains the multiverse and does make sure that none of like the variants or anything goes crazy.
They do show the multiverse as a web.
So I have a feeling she might show up and she will be like, this like so freaking chaotic and like
something you have to clean it up.
So I think that's one way they. I don't know who. I mean, other than Spot, I think Spot will be there. And I think
Spot will be there. I mean,
but I feel like once he's done, I think that's where Miguel O'Hara comes in as the whole other villain.
True. Yeah. I mean, there's two villains.
It'll
be interesting. And I mean, they have plenty of. Miles has plenty of people on his side as well.
Yeah.
So he has his spider friend. So
wait, did Spider Pig show up?
Yeah, he was there. Right at the end, you see like and the girl with the robot body.
Kaiju thing.
Yeah. So all the characters from the previous one movie
are kind of like coming back.
They're coming back. So that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, next one should be good. Let's hope it doesn't take too long.
With the way things are going, I hope the writers get whatever they deserve.
Yes.
And I hope things get back to normal because...
because I mean, you watch this movie, right? Yeah. And you realize, okay, this was written by people. You can't... The AI is not going to come up with this. Like, all those... small moments.
But I argue, I feel like Fast X was written by AI because it was so.
That's a conversation for another day. Fast X.
Oh my god, that film! But
that was written by, Vin Diesel. No, they have their guy. For that. But anyway. Let's hope the next Spider-Man, Spider-Verse movie comes out soon.
So I want to say to our listeners, thank you so much for listening to our first episode. Basically, what we are going to do is we are not only going to talk about the movies that are coming out, but also we'll be talking about films that have come out in the past.
Yeah.
And also I'll also be talking about films from like other countries, like foreign films, indie films, I guess
he's gonna make me watch his letterboxed list of stuff. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. So I actually have a list also where I update like all the foreign films I watch, and I'm like, oh, this is good. Maybe someone should give it a shot. And So please subscribe to Movie Slingers. Please subscribe to our podcast wherever you're listening from, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Castbox or wherever it is you're listening from. And stay tuned. More episodes to come every week on Saturdays.
We'll know when it comes out. It'll come out when it comes out.
So anyways, have a good day, good night, good morning, or good evening. From where you're from, and see you. Bye bye then.
Bye bye.
Bye.